I watched this very strange video of Jordan Peterson doing this kind of tag team debate with 50 or 20 atheists. I think it was 20 atheists. And I thought he performed somewhat poorly. I was not really impressed. I mean, at first I thought he was good, but he seemed like really angry the whole time for no apparent reason, and he kept kind of like he was evasive about something. I didn't think he did a great job. There's one argument that he makes that I think is a really, really strong argument, but he just doesn't do a very good job of articulating it. And that is that in order to, he asked a few of them. He asked, why do you believe what you believe? Or why do you think that you have any understanding of the truth? And their answer is always, we use logic and reason, or we use science, something along those lines. And then the question becomes, though, why do you trust that your logical reasoning abilities are leading you to the correct conclusions? Or better stated, why do you believe that your logical reasoning faculty is capable of accurately representing the truth of reality? That's a very difficult question for an atheist to answer because they don't have any foundation for that belief. Generally, an atheist believes that the logical reasoning capacity is just a byproduct of the physical 11 pounds of fat or whatever it is that is the brain. I don't think it's 11 pounds. However many pounds of fat is the brain. And it comes from that. It's material. It's emergent from a material source. Now, again, if you ask an atheist, why did that logical reasoning ability emerge? Well, it comes from evolution, and it comes from natural selection. We have this logical reasoning ability like we have everything else because at some point throughout our history, it was helpful in helping us to survive and adapt to our environment. Now, notice that this thing is helpful for helping us to survive and adapt to our environment, survive and reproduce in evolutionary terms. Notice that that's a very different claim than it is accurately reflects reality. Right? That's not the argument at all. If you believe that the logical reasoning faculty accurately reflects reality, you should probably have some basis on which to believe that. Because all evolution gives you is a basis to believe that it's helpful for survival and reproduction. It doesn't give you any basis to believe that it's helpful for accurately representing the truth, the objective truth of reality. Now, you could make the argument that, maybe it just so happens to be that what's a proper representation of reality is also adaptive. It's also useful for survival and reproduction. But I think the evidence for that is pretty weak, and in fact, the atheist argument, again, would shoot itself in the foot there, because the vast majority of people throughout history have believed in God. And in fact, even in recent studies, even studies that were performed by godless atheistic professors, find that people who are religious, who believe in God, tend to live longer, be happier, and have more children than people who do not. So, if we take as a presupposition that those people who believe in God are just deluding themselves, well, then here we have a perfect example that deluding yourself, according to the atheist paradigm, is actually more adaptive, is better for survival and reproduction than recognizing the truth. So if that's the case, again, I would ask the question, why do you believe that your reasoning abilities have give you any accurate representation of reality. Now, on the theistic side, if you believe in God, that answer is pretty easy. Well, I believe that God created my logical reasoning abilities as a reflection of his own thinking, which is perfect and true. When I say reflection, I mean, say, not a lesser version of it, but that generally it tends towards the truth. And so, now I can't prove that, but if I say that, then I am being logically consistent with my own worldview. Whereas, if I'm an atheist and I say that my logical reasoning abilities are just a random happenstance of genetic mutations over time that happen to be adaptive, then I have no basis on which to put faith that those logical reasoning abilities are going to have any resemblance or going to be helpful in finding the true nature of reality. So I think that's what Jordan Peterson was trying to get at least in part of it. And I think it's a great argument. I just don't think he did a very good job of it. And I've heard him try to make that argument before. He did a debate with Sam Harris that I watched years ago, that he was trying to make that argument as well. And he was saying that, like, Sam Harris wasn't a true evolutionist. That's what he was trying to get at, I think. But I just don't think he does a very good job of it. And then, like, getting angry and snapping at everybody just isn't helping his case. So it's an interesting concept, but poorly executed in my opinion. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.